to say something a little uncomfortable. Some of the most popular organizing advice is actually making people's homes worse. And it goes beyond more bins, more storage, or more systems, because people still feel more overwhelmed by their homes than ever. Now, if organizing products and storage systems actually solved clutter, then most homes would actually feel calm and easy to manage by now. But they don't. Trust me, they don't. And I think it's because a lot of us have been sold a few organizing lies that quietly keep us stuck. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Tell me lies. Anyway, and now listen, I'm not judging. First of all, my kitchen looks like this in the background of me filming, but I also believed every single one of these at some point. But once you see them, you will start to understand why organizing sometimes works for about 3 days, and then the clutter slowly creeps right back in. So today we are talking about 7 organizing lies that make home harder to manage. And the last one surprised me the most because it shows up in our kitchens. My legs hurt from crouching like this. Okay, and before I do get to those, I do just want to say the obvious thing. Yes, you can't organize clutter. There, that's it. That's the whole lesson. I'm not going to get into that because you've heard it a million times and you know it already, okay? Because the real problem, it's not the organizing, it's the beliefs that keep the clutter hanging around in the first place. And the first one is probably the most common lie that we have been told. The first organizing lie is that what you think you really need is more storage. Here's the thing. People believe that we need more storage. We need a shed. I need a better place to put things. I need shelves. I need totes. I need organizers. But clutter is expanding to fill that storage. It's so interesting how that will happen. We'll end up getting storage systems, but then the storage systems end up growing larger over time. Then we end up organizing things that we don't actually end up using. I fell for that too. I once bought bookshelves because I was like, I need to organize all of this child's artwork. Now I keep it in closets. And I got rid of a bunch of it. I bought those bookshelves and then I ended up being like, you know what? I think we need to build some shelves in this little storage room that we had. Then we ended up being like, well, we need more totes. Then we added more shelves. Somehow I still ended up with beautifully organized clutter. All of those bins were filled with just stuff that we weren't even using because it was stored. We didn't access it for years. You know those bins that are labeled miscellaneous? That word basically means I gave up. So what you can do is you can pick one storage bin, pull it out, one bin or tote, and what I would love for you to do is go through it and say, what of this stuff have I been missing in the past few years? And a thing that I love to do when we do use totes and have containers is having an actual defined thing that goes into them. And ask yourself, if I didn't already own this, would I bring it into my house today? If the answer is no, then that bin might be storing decisions that are long overdue. And that leads right into the next lie that organizing culture has made very popular. Lie number 2 is that everything needs a container. A container for this, a container for that, container for your cat. Okay, actually I do need this one, but only when we go to the vet. The second organizing lie is that everything needs a container, and I'm not exactly talking about that kind. And you know who I could blame? It could be Instagram, but really it's probably Pinterest on this one. You open it and suddenly everything with organizing, it needs a bin. It needs a snack bin, a vitamin bin, tea bins, fridge bins, bins for your bins, and at some point you start wondering if your yogurt needs its own apartment. The problem though is that containers, they look like organization. We feel like, okay, everything is organized. I have all these gorgeous containers, but nothing has really changed because sometimes containers hide how much stuff we actually have. Sometimes containers create new categories we did not need, and far, far too many. Containers make things harder to put away. I will tell you that when I organize my paperwork, I have a binder that I keep it in, and it has to be in there. That's like the only thing where I'm like, it has to go in the container. I'm bad for pulling that out and putting the paperwork where it actually goes. And soon, you have containers for your containers. Don't tell me you don't. And remember, sometimes the container isn't organizing the item. The container is organizing your guilt about the item. So your simple action moment is that you could just do something very simple. Pick one container in your house that you know is just a big old mess, and you just go ahead and you dump it out, and you only put back what truly belongs in that container. And you might be surprised how empty the container becomes. And then once you see that another organizing lie completely falls apart. Now, my rule with containers is that it has to have a defined thing. Like maybe you were like, this is the container where all of my buttons go. You're not gonna have a bunch of loose buttons laying around. You need a jar or something for it, but it needs to be defined and it needs to be actually containing something. Lie number 3, I just need a day to organize. This is one of the most hopeful lies that we tell ourselves. And I think that for me in the past, when I have done this, please let me know your experience, is that I'm like, you know what? I go in that garage, it looks messy. All I need to do is just have a day to get in there, to put things away, move things around. I picture myself getting up, making a beautiful breakfast. I see my family being like, you know what? We're going to do this together. It's going to be amazing. And then I see myself in a cute outfit, going out there, cup of tea. Just a few hours later, everything's organized. It's beautiful, leisurely going through things. That's the dream. But it's time to wake up from that dream. Here's what really happens. You end up waking up. Your family's annoyed that you've roped them into this again, and you quickly get overwhelmed. You realize that you can't just put things away because there's so much stuff. You're trying to organize it, but what do you do with all of the things that you can't organize? Then you end up opening a drawer and you find old birthday cards. Then you find photos from when the kids were small. You sit down, you end up crying, you end up overwhelmed by all of the stuff, all of the feelings, all of the emotion. The problem is our expectation of transformation does not happen, so we end up giving up. Big organization days rarely work because consistent small decisions matter more and they work more. Understanding that, yes, as I did mention at the very beginning, you cannot organize clutter. What we need is small little improvements, because remember, that clutter did not arrive in one day, and it's probably not leaving in one day either. It's like if you get pregnant, you have a baby, it takes more than 9 months to grow that baby, and it's going to take a lot of time to lose that baby weight. So instead of waiting for a big organizing day, try one small decision today. Open one drawer, go to one shelf, go to one bag. Consistently beats the heroic Saturday that you truly have just wasted, and now your husband's mad at you. And the next lie is one that people don't even realize that they believe. Lie number 4, it's not clutter, it's just messy. This one is sneaky, and a lot of people think their house is just messy. And you know, I'm still seeing my mess behind. I've strategically placed the camera. But what we'll say is things like, I just need to tidy. I just need to clean. I just need to organize. But what you might notice is you're going to have a kitchen counter that you think is clean, but it is still completely full. Like, yes, you've wiped everything off, but there's stuff that you have, that's where it lives. It lives on the counter. You have a coffee table that's holding remotes, books, glasses, mail, mugs. Did I mention magazines? Does anybody still have magazines? Anyway, an entryway where shoes might appear overnight like mushrooms. But there's a difference between clutter and mess. Messes are actually temporary, like what we have going on behind you. This is all just stuff that needs to be put in the dishwasher because I haven't emptied it yet. They're temporary. It can be put away. It all has a home. But clutter is structural. Piles that stay for a while, a long while. Maybe you have got a stack of National Geographic magazines, or you have other things. You've got surfaces filling up. Then you feel like you are constantly resetting things, or you might just be like, we're just like the things are like encroaching in, like our counters are getting smaller because we have so much stuff there, like vitamins and whatever, because all of your cupboards are full. There's nowhere to put anything. Is it a cleaning or is it a volume problem? Mess is clean. Clutter is volume. Too many items competing for surfaces. And now sometimes the reason that a space always looks messy, it's just because there's just simply too many things living there.
So you might clear the counter, but within 2 hours, it looks like a small airport lost and found. You know what is going on. And sometimes what we call mess is really just overcrowding. So what you can do is just try to clean one surface completely. And anything that lives there, try to find a home for it. Don't organize what's on your counters or wherever. Just completely remove everything. And just notice how long it stays clean. Even if you are like, I can't get rid of any of this stuff, throw it in a box. And then just sort of see how the surface is, if it's easy to clean. You might find that it wasn't that you had a mess problem, it was a stuff problem. Now this next one, it sounds generous, but it sneakily creates a lot of clutter. And lie number 5 is, I should keep this in case someone needs it. Oh sister, I have heard this a lot from my sweet Mighty members in the Mighty Circle membership, because they care so much. And it sounds super kind, and the intentions are really good behind it. But it can quietly fill a house with things that no one actually needs. I'm going to list off some things, and maybe you'll be like, oh my goodness, she's talking about me. Think about this. The bag of clothes that you are waiting to see if somebody wants them. The extra chair in the garage where you're like, that's just too good to get rid of. I know I can find somebody to give that to. Or sell, but you haven't put it up for sale. Boxes of craft supplies, saving clothes for someone, saving furniture, saving craft supplies, storing things indefinitely, storing things for hypothetical people. Future generosity. But the problem is, it's clutter disguised as kindness. The issue here is that we have not actually fully detached from these things. And this is why a lot of the time, you know, you would go to somebody's house, or maybe you've done it yourself, where you're like, I was doing some decluttering and I have this box of things that I thought you could use. And I think the thing is we almost feel like we haven't gotten rid of the thing. We haven't decluttered it because we're giving it to somebody who we know. So it's almost like we haven't detached and we want to stay connected. So we keep the thing. We keep them because somebody might need them one day. But your house is not a long-term storage facility for other people's possible future. And I could use it one day. You know how I feel about that. It's not, if you're not using it and you really can't see it in your future, you gotta let it go. And it's the same for other people. If you know, if you're like, I'm saving this for Susan, it's her birthday, and I am giving it to her. But seriously, friend, that's a trap, because then you're gonna be like, well, but what about Sharon? What about Cindy? Sometimes we're basically running a tiny unpaid warehouse for hypothetical emergencies, and it is stealing your own peace. It is stealing your space. Wouldn't it be nice to not have that stuff in your house? So here's what you could do. Choose one item that you could donate today instead of saving it for somebody you could give it to. Think about it this way. The stuff that you are saving in your house, somebody else, you could donate it, somebody else who actually could use it would use it instead of you saving it, just in case your friend might want it. But this next lie might surprise you. Lie number 6, food doesn't count as clutter. This next lie, it shows up in almost every house, but people rarely think of food as clutter. But think about it this way. How many cupboards have you had, or do you have, that has expired food? Or how many duplicates do you have? Do you have many boxes of Jell-O that might be expired? I'm not sure if it matters if it's Jell-O, but you're not really sure what you would use that Jell-O on anyway. Are you expecting mystery children to show up and you could make them Jell-O? I don't know. Perhaps you have duplicates of things, and it's things that you really don't need duplicates of, like maybe like a cooking sherry, and you're like, I only use the cooking sherry once a year, and I'm certainly not going to drink it. Maybe you have ingredients from one recipe, and you've actually never made that recipe, or you're not going to. And perhaps you have snacks no one eats, or you have children who, they go ahead and they put the crackers back upside down, thinking this is going to stop them from being stale, but it doesn't. And they put them where they don't go. Maybe you have that. Snacks no one eats, perhaps. Pantry chaos and overflow can be chaotic. It can stress you out. And the problem is, it makes it hard for us to organize the food that we do eat. My pantry, I work hard on this pantry, and every month or two I go through and I try to organize. I want to make sure that I don't have things that are expired. And in a recent video I talked about spices that I found. I found one that had expired, you know, more than 10 years ago, before the last, you know, political party in Canada was elected. And so I also have I had oysters, a can of oysters in my pantry that had expired 5 years earlier. Now, canned foods actually might last longer. I think it's a safety issue. Now, don't fact check me on this. You can let me know. Tell me in the comments. But I do believe that if you have things that have expired, it's still okay. Just the quality might not be good. But the thing is, the bigger issue was that nobody in my house even likes oysters. So what exactly was the plan there? Think about it. If you have anything in your pantry that nobody would want to eat and that nobody's going to eat, it's basically where good intentions go to retire. Don't do it. Because if you're not going to eat it, it is clutter. So tonight, go ahead, open your pantry and remove anything expired. Pull out any drawers, get out anything from the back. And I know it hurts to throw away food. I know it does. But here's the thing. You're probably still not going to eat it. So move, get rid of that stuff. Move the healthy foods up to eye level. That's another bonus tip that I have for you. Because a peaceful home, it's not about perfect organization. It's about owning things that support your life. And at the beginning I did mention, you can't organize clutter. And that actually is tip number 7, because you can't. If I've explained anything in this entire video, it's that you try to have the big organizing day, but you can't, because you have to get rid of things in the meantime. It's that your kitchen counters might be growing in and you might be losing space because you think it's messy, but it's not. You have a volume problem. So we want less to clean and less to manage and less to think about. And many women reach their 40s and suddenly realize that their homes are full of things from earlier chapters of life that we are done with. And sometimes that's a really good thing. Maybe your kids were little. Maybe your schedule was chaos and you were just trying to keep up, because that is what happens. And so often in our lives, we're so used to just giving. And then we finally reach a stage where maybe you're in your early to mid 40s and your kids are just at an age where they're very manageable and they're a lot more independent. Or maybe your kids have flown the coop and maybe you're a little bit older. And now you're like, oh, this stage of life is different. I can actually start taking care of myself. Your home, you can start making sure that you are taking care of it. And your home and your stuff can support you instead of overwhelming you. You can get rid of all of that. And I'm curious which one of these lies you believe the most. And I'm very, please tell me in the comments, because this was a bit of a different style that I wanted to make. And if you want help resetting your kitchen and your pantry, I created a guide called the Mighty Kitchen Method, which I linked below. And it walks through simple ways to set up your kitchen so food supports you and your life. And you can watch a video all about that right here. I hope something great happens for you today. Please like and subscribe. So many people are watching and they're not subscribed, and it would just warm my heart to know whether or not you like what we're doing here. You can give it a little thumbs up. Stay tidy and mighty. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.